Okay, so we're just waiting a few seconds for the last people to connect to sound, which always takes a bit, takes a few seconds. Okay, I think while we wait, I'm going to get started so long. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is the last session of the World Water Week in Stockholm. I'm here with Nicole Langer, and slightly out of the video is Sandy. She'll join a bit later, so Sandra Brookstool. And we are live from Stockholm, and it's been a really exciting week, I think we can say. And, you know, this is one of our highlights though. So we really want to showcase one of IWMI's innovations. It's a virtual reality tour, which we will showcase, and we'll have a bit of a discussion around the use cases. We have chosen one example, although by now we have 4 tours. And we have chosen the example of Tigray in northern Ethiopia, also because, you know, the theme of this year's World Water Week is actually peace and water. So we thought it fits quite nicely into that theme. So please do put, we open at the end for some Q&A. So please feel free to actually then also unmute yourself. We will make that option available. In the meantime, if things come up, we are monitoring the chat, so we encourage everyone to put questions into the chat. Okay, without further ado, because this is a quick 1-hour session, we will now hear from Dr. Inga Jacobs-Matter. Go ahead.
Good day and welcome to this World Water Week session titled Streams of Solidarity, a virtual exploration of shared water resources. My name is Inga Jacobs-Matter and I'm the Director for Water Growth and Inclusion at the International Water Management Institute. At IWMI, and for 40 years, with a country presence in 15 countries, our research has delivered concrete changes in water management practices that have contributed to social and economic development for the poorest of the poor. I'm excited to introduce IWMI's virtual field trips, an innovative mechanism that employs virtual reality technology, providing a 360-degree field of view for an immersive and interactive experience. This work stemmed from our objective to take our in-field project experience to a wider audience, particularly in hard-to-reach, fragile and conflict-affected settings, as the one you will see today in Tigray. It has been a wonderful tool for interactive capacity sharing between partners and stakeholders because of its place-based experiential learning function. Given the high demand for this, we are developing IWMI's first ever research for development project, Multiverse, which will host several other virtual field trip examples from all over the world. I hope that you will be inspired to partner with us and contribute to its further development with this highly innovative team. Thank you and stay tuned. Good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our online session at Stockholm World Water Week 2024, entitled Streams of Solidarity, a virtual exploration of shared water resources. My name is Nora Hankelo. I'm the project coordinator and deputy country representative at IWMI South Africa, the moderator of this session, and I'm thrilled to have you all with us today. We are presenting our virtual field trips, also known as VFTs, which uses VR technology, virtual reality technology, which is one of our innovations at IWMI. As you have heard, we've completed several VFTs across sub-Saharan Africa, which was piloted by the Regional Integrated Initiative of the CGIAR in East and Southern Africa, which you can explore on your desktop with VR glasses and even on your smartphone. In this session, we will focus on footage of internally displaced persons in Tigray, Ethiopia. This is linked to our work under the Fragility, Climate and Migration Initiative, where we are designing vulnerability assessment frameworks for anticipatory action. We will also hear from our experts on the IWMI's VFT research, their impact and how they align with IWMI's 2024 to 2030 strategic focus areas. We will showcase our project so you can make yourself or get a picture for yourself and listen to a panel discussion of experts that discuss the uses and the impact of VFTs in their view. We are also keen to hear from you, of course. Please contribute in our live interactive Q&A session. Our goal is to foster a collaborative, engaging environment where we can all learn, share insights, and grow together and make the VFTs better. So, without further ado, let's get started. Please join me with welcoming our first speaker, Nicole Langer, IWMI's Research Officer on Future Creative Technologies for Agricultural Innovation, who will tell us more about the research she has been conducting on VFTs. Thank you and enjoy the session.
Hi, my name is Nicole Langa, and I'm a research officer, Future Creative Technologies for Agricultural Innovation at the International Water Management Institute, known as IWMI, based in Pretoria, South Africa. I work in the field of digital, creative, and emerging technologies, exploring their various practical applications in the water and agricultural sector. Here at IWMI, I have developed a series of virtual field trips known as VFTs that employ virtual reality technology. And we have defined these VFTs as a journey taken without physically visiting a site. And this is because often our research activities take place in locations that are often inaccessible or very difficult to reach. My research has uncovered that there are numerous amounts of publication reports and production of virtual field trips that have been taking place on the European and American continent in relation to the African continent. So there is a large knowledge and geographical gap that we are hoping to bridge at IWMI in conducting research on virtual field trips. There are also a lot of publications on the application of virtual field trips in related fields such as agricultural education that have been very successful and that we can build from as we embark on this journey to create innovative solutions for critical water issues. There are also other considerations such as accessibility to groups that are traditionally excluded, such as women, children, vulnerable groups, and people with disabilities, which we hope to incorporate and continuously improve as we develop our virtual field trips. So, just to expand on what I was explaining about the research findings that I have gathered from a literature review that I conducted, many studies showed that the use of virtual field trips aid in reducing the carbon footprint because of less emissions due to less travel. There is also great considerations that we need to be mindful of, such as individuals with differences and other individual differences between people, such as age, gender, physical disabilities, impairments, and accessibility challenges, especially in the early stages as we develop the virtual field trips. And as mentioned, there is a lack of research on the virtual field trips emanating from the African continent.
Okay, so we're now going to hear from Volker Ludwig. He is with us, a colleague at the International Water Management Institute based in Sri Lanka, and he's the Director for Water Data Science.
My name is Volker Ludwig, and I'm the Director of Water Data Science at the International Water Management Institute. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how these virtual field trips are helping IWMI to actually reach the objectives that we've set out in our new strategy. So one of the key issues that we work on at IWMI is mitigating water risk. And I think these field trips can really help us to actually make stronger early warnings for flood threats and disasters. By linking the virtual field trip to some of the real-time data on precipitation and temperatures, we can actually better look at early warnings in remote areas where we have these virtual field trips. At the same time, it can also help us to overcome global inequalities. First of all, virtual field trips are a very good way of communicating science. It brings people much closer to the actual field work that we have been doing. You can always feel the field work when looking at these virtual field trips. At the same time, it can also attract funding and attract more research into remote areas. We tend to invest close to where we live, close to where we have our offices. Well, these virtual field trips will actually bring these remote sites much closer to investors, much closer to researchers, and as all of that, we can have bigger impacts in the remote areas and attract investment there, which without these field trips, virtual field trips might not be possible. Finally, we think it's a very good tool for capacity building. You can showcases in the different capacity building activities that you do. You can use it within kind of higher education to basically show the field sites that the students might be working on. And it's a much cheaper, much more efficient way of bringing students to the field sites. Of course, it won't be fully replacing field trips, but it allows to show much more diverse kind of field sites within these virtual field trips.
Okay, so next up, we are actually going to showcase the tour that we have developed in Ethiopia, and we'll also share the link in the chat so people can access it in their own time. But Nicole has prepared a bit of a demo for us, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Welcome to this walkthrough demo video of the Adapting for Resilient Futures virtual field trip in Tigray, Ethiopia. Click on the Start Tour to begin. Please note that this demonstration will be from a desktop, but IWMI's virtual field trips are available on smartphones, desktop, and VR specialized headsets. This trailer provides a brief overview of what to expect. Click on the Skip Intro button if you wish to dive straight into the virtual field trip. Now we are in the first seat of the virtual field trip. Move your cursor from side to side, upwards or downwards to explore the virtual environment. You are provided with a 360-degree field of view. Click on the upper output space to listen to activities. Here are the things of protection of the system. Click on the time slider and drag it to fast forward and click it.
There were no electric, there were no water,
Click on the X button to exit. Click on the Project Information tab to learn more about the research projects taking place in Tigray, Ethiopia. Click on the Location tab to learn more about the location. Click on the Blog tab to find out about blogs that have been published on this theme. Click on the Ethics tab to read about the ethical considerations that went into the development of this virtual field trip. Click on the map X icon to remove the map and click on it again and it will reappear. Click on this icon to reveal an array of options. Here is the button you will click if you are using a virtual reality headset. This button underneath it is to cancel out sound and to listen to sound. This option is currently unavailable. Click on this icon to view the virtual field trip in a full screen mode. Click on Aerial 2, which is a panoramic image to progress in the virtual field trip. Underneath, as you can see, you will find a short description relating to the visuals that you are currently viewing. From this point onward, you will find two tabs. One to take you back to the 360-degree location that you were at before, and one to progress to move forward. The icons are consistent throughout the virtual field trip and represent the same functions. Here is a
My name is Manuel Haila. I am from Imagine One Day. My position is CPG program specialist here in Makale. It's unexpected. There is no early warning. Of course, OCHA anticipated that such kind of people may displace. That
I will now click on Scene 1 to progress forward in the virtual field trip. You can track your location on the map displayed above. I will click on Scene 2 to progress. Here is an interview with a community youth leader who will walk you through the water point and explain the water challenges faced in this community.
ቦታ እዚ ማይ ጉድጓድ ይበሃል ያው አምስት ትሪእዎ ዘለኹም እዚ ና ማሕበረሰብ ዝጥቀመሉ ማይ እዩ ካብኡ እንደገና ምንም ዓይነት ፓምፐር ወይ ግዛዕ የብሉ ብገመድና ብታኒካ እዩ ዝግበረሉ ያው ዝሕብረተሰብ እንደገና ዝተፈላለዩ ነገራት እዩ ዝጥቀመሉ ብምግቢ ክዳን መሕፀቢ ንነብሲ መሕፀቢ ኢቭን ንምስታይ ኢሉ ባዕሉ ካብቶ ዝለለ ይጥቀም ካብኡ
I will click on Scene 1 if I want to go back to where I previously was, and I will click on Scene 3 to progress forward. is an interview in scene 5 of a host community member.
وزم تفنقلنا صقومهم أو حدا يمتأكيوهم أحد تأكيوهم قاموا دي يصموا ماني أنا أتومي ما يتسأل لو يقول ما يقول قادي يوم قد حنيرو ما نأكل لنا آيات السئن ورحت السعان قلت سومن السعانية فزول أو أنا إحنا ون نشجر نيرنا ما يقول قاد ترى نوع النيرنا ترى نوع النيرنا حدا تقال يوزل لما قليلة صقمنا شجرنا يقول حزنينا رد أن اللي حدا كمد هنا ألمي كل نجارات الوسع حدا
هو بصوا هو 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 ايه تثبت بيتصون يروح سجلكم نيرم هو هو سل عين انا هاتو بيتصون زيرو زيروس ولا حسي لمكم يوم حدا جديد سبحان
So just to say, this is just to showcase, right? So it's not supposed to be telling a story. So the interviews are interrupted. It's just to show the content, right? So just to be clear about that. We'll post a link. It is live, so people can, look at all the interviews in their own time.
ሓደ ፀገማት ኣብ ዲታት ህፃናት ተፈናቀልቲ እውን ድብልቕልቕ
Hi, my name is Dr. Zenawi Zarihun at Makala University. I'm working as a consultant for the IWMI-based project that is currently conducting an extensive research study on host community vulnerability analysis in terms of the concept of anticipatory action in Tigray. So
click here to return to the beginning of the tour. You have now successfully taken a virtual walk through different Kabeles, communities in Tigray, Ethiopia, and learned more about the impact.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think a few people have joined late. So let me maybe just explain what we just saw, because I guess it's a bit random if you came a bit late. So IMI developed this virtual reality tour, which obviously normally you control the pace. So what we wanted to do is just to showcase what you actually see and how it works. It wasn't supposed to give you a whole tour because that would actually take quite a long time. So I hope sort of on the same page a little bit. We have recorded a panel discussion a bit on, the benefits of the VR tours. We'll also hear from Gautam about the Tigray situation and the water challenges, as well as the virtual reality, opportunities for funding and some risks. And then afterwards, we will open the floor for questions, for Q&A. And as I said, please, we'll put the link into the chat as well. Go ahead.
I'm Dr. Sandra Ruckstuhl, a senior researcher at the International Water Management Institute. I'm also the co-lead for the CGIAR Fragility, Conflict, and Migration Initiative, and I'm based in Amman, Jordan.
What are the benefits of using VR technology in conflict and fragile settings?
So I see the benefit of this technology as being, it allows us to reach those really hard to reach places where there may be insecurity and difficult in gaining access. And consequently, it helps us to demystify the realities of those locations through creating these VR experience, and it helps us elevate the voices in those communities. I think it's beneficial for us to have a digital repository of the situations and the interventions in those types of locations, because it helps us to build capacity ourselves as researchers, but for all of the partners that we have as we help to inform interventions and investments in those types of situations. So that certainly, in short, it helps bring those far away or difficult to access places to the forefront, so that we can have better designed interventions that can be more effective.
And what impact will IMI's virtual field trips in Tigray have on stakeholder engagement and partnerships in the future?
That's a good question. I feel that this type of immersive technology is an excellent alternative to the publications and reports that we often use as evidence of our work. Again, by providing a platform where people, partners, donors, researchers can really immerse themselves in the type of context. This helps us better design or better communicate a value proposition.
What impact will IMI's VFT integrate have on stakeholder engagement and partnership in the future?
That's a good question. I think this technology could have an impact on a variety of different parties. So first of all, this immersive technology, I feel, will be far more effective than providing written reports and things of this nature that are so static, that don't really provide the full story of impact, necessarily all the data and all the tacit knowledge that exists in these examples that are being communicated through this technology. So I feel that it will help us build partnerships through communication, better science communication through turning these types of technologies into education tools for another dimension of consumers, and also helping to communicate with impact investors in a space that really does need targeted investment, because working in complex situations, again, is very challenging fundraising environment at times. So I think this tool will help convey this story for action by any of that variety of actors.
Okay, my name is Volker Ludwig. I'm the Director of Water Data Science at the International Water Management Institute, and I lead a group of scientists who work on using digital innovations, new digital tools to help with the objectives of IWMIs in terms of sustainable water management, water for food, and looking at the impacts of climate change.
Thank you. Can you please introduce yourself, Goitan? You're muted, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, my name is Goitom Tuku. I am from Ethiopia, Tigray. My profession is hydraulic engineering, and also I have ample experience working with the water sector for the past 17 years. So I'm glad to join this panel to contribute my experience. This is all I have now. I'm currently working as a consultant hired by UNICEF for helping to Tigray Water Bureau in the water sector, both in irrigation as well as in the water supply system in the region.
Thank you. And we look forward to the discussion in this session today. So I'm going to start off with Foucault by asking you how you think IWMI's VFTs, virtual field trips, can be beneficial to our stakeholders, partners, and the general public.
Okay, so yeah, I think the virtual field trips are a really interesting, exciting innovation, and it can really help IWMI, especially in the kind of work that we're doing in the more rural regions. Often doing field trips, field work in these rural, regions, isolated regions is often very costly. It's hard to get there, and with the virtual field trips, it makes it easier to have people giving people that experience of the field trip without actually going into the field, and that can be beneficial to stakeholders, so we can actually show them what we're doing in those regions, whether we want to do similar regions. It can help our scientists. But not everybody having to go to the field, but still being able to experience. It can help our new people to show the kind of work that we are doing at IWMI. So I think it's a really exciting way, which allows us to work in more areas, more costly and having a bigger impact for a smaller amount of investments.
And Goitam, what do you think are the benefits of using VR technology in conflict and fragile affected settings?
Yeah, you see, after the conflict, as I said earlier, I'm talking about concentrating on the water sector, but the advantage of water sector for the people who are affected by different natural and man-made problems. So after a conflict, as everybody knows, most of the structures constructed to give service for irrigation or for water supply purpose are damaged. So if such kind of interventions are launched, most of the damaged structure will be reconstructed, and also the victim of society will be benefited both by irrigation and also by water supply. So this initiative or this kind of implementation of project is very vital for the victim society in general, and also especially for the women and children in particular.
Thank you, Goitam. And as much as it can be beneficial, there's no innovation that is without its challenges. So, Foucault, what are the risks that come with the use of representational technologies such as VR in the development sector, and how do you think that they can be mitigated?
Now, of course, first of all, the accessibility to the technologies, I think, is an important one. Of course, using VR technology asks for investments, both in terms of the equipment, but also in terms of training people. So it might actually, in that sense, limit the people who go into the field because they need to be able to use the technologies. So we might actually, exclude people from being involved in this kind of programs because they're not using the equipment. I mean, and also then the people not going to the field, but want to look, things like VR equipment to have it can be strange for people. People might be hesitant to use that. Those could be some of the risks that we need to think about, and we need to think about how we keep this tool accessible and available also to more vulnerable, more isolated communities.
The idea of community is one that is consistently coming up when we speak about virtual field trips, because we would obviously like to design the technology centered around the community members that will be represented in the medium. So, Goitam, how do you think that we could increase community engagement in Tigray developing these virtual field trips moving forward?
Okay, thank you for this question. You see, without the engagement of community in any targeted plan or project, I think everything is impossible. So to enhance or to increase the community participation, I think the first thing is to give to awareness by different methods like conducting of seminar, workshop, training, something like that about the project that we are going to plan. So after giving such kind of awareness, and also I think it is it's very important how the project or the intended any implementation program can have a benefit to the community also well known. So such for example by conducting pilot projects, how it is going to be benefited for them. Also one of the methods that can increase the participation of community in any program that we are going to implement. So awareness, making also incentives, and also showing them practically, not in theoretically. So if you conduct in these methods, the participation of community will be enhanced or increased.
And alongside the participation of the community, we need to also prioritize partnerships with different stakeholders as well that will inform the development of the virtual. Which leads me to my next question for Foucault, which is how important are partnerships with people like technology providers, academic institutions, and other organizations in exploring the use of VR in the virtual field trips? And what kind of support should we be prioritizing and would be the most valuable in developing the virtual field trips?
No, I think there's two aspects of the virtual field trips which for IWMI are important. I think that's kind of the research aspect that we look at. Okay, do these virtual field trips really have the impact that we're looking at? Are they a good kind of replacement of some of the field work that we're doing? Are really people getting more access and people understanding this technology. So I think in that sense, research partners could be important. At the same time, we want to have with these fields to kind of development impact, where we especially reaching the communities, and there I think local partners who know the kind of local circumstances are really important. And at the same time, for us, it's also somewhere we need to generate the funding to get this work. So funding partners, which can be from the public sector donors, but could also be potentially private sector partners who want to use this kind of technology to have an impact into the field. But I think it is important that we realize that using this new technology, we cannot do this alone, and that range of good partners, both in terms of increasing our impact, as in terms of improving the use of technologies, are important in our way forward.
Thank you for that, Foucault. Goitem, now that the virtual field trips would be developed with all the necessary support and knowledge from various partners or stakeholders, I would like to know more about whether or not Tigray as a region has any existing infrastructure to support the adoption and uptake of the technology. And if not, what are the key gaps that we should be looking at so that the community is able to fully leverage these tools?
Yeah, you see, new technologies were introducing before the war in encouraging manner, but after the war, I think from 60 to 70% of them are damaged. So it's difficult to say there are ample or enough technologies here in Tigray. Rather, it is better to say introducing them as a new or utilizing the past technologies as a benchmark. Maybe we can say like that. So I'm not to dare to say that there are enough technologies here in Tigray, but utilizing them as a benchmark or as a starting point, we can magnify, we can intensify by introducing them as new or as a scratch point of view. So to conduct them, those technology, to introduce, to expand those infrastructures, I think it needs a lot of support, not only from the partners, but also from the communities themselves, from the government, from a lot of stakeholders. If we integrated them, we integrated all partners, stakeholders, the governments, in order to scale up the lift out of infrastructures as a technology, and also to rehabilitate them. So by making a lot of stakeholder approaches, participatory approaches, and also giving a platform to contribute all interesting partners for their contribution, we can scale up the lift out of technologies, and also we can introduce another new technologies for the benefiting of our community. So there are few, but it should be magnified. To magnify them, it needs a lot of assistance or support from different angles. So special attention should be given, especially for the region, since it's passes very devastating war, which impacts in the negative ways for all structures, for the new structures, infrastructures. So I think it needs some special attention, special innovation, special ways, thinking out of the box in order to familiarize it or in order to be scale upping of the technologies in our infrastructure.
Okay, so that's
I'm Dr. Sandra Ruxtel.
Oh, sorry. That's the end of the panel. I'm actually gonna stop sharing the screen. So Fulco and Gautam are also online, and I hope that they can take part. So one question that came up in the chat is, are there privacy issues here? Sorry, came late if you already discussed. I'm going to take that question. I'm probably best placed. So there's several aspects to that. Yes, definitely is the answer. However, firstly, IMI has a policy, we never show children, so that's whatever we do, children are not part of the equation. The second part is that we actually use AI to blur faces. So you don't actually see the faces of people that didn't consent to be interviewed. So specifically in the interviews, obviously they know we are filming them. They're part of the process in many cases, because they show us where we should film. But the actual faces of bystanders are blurred out. So happy to have a discussion further if you think that's insufficient. But yeah, that's how it is. Are there any other questions? Karen says that's good. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, are there other things that there was also a comment about Barbara, one of the IMI colleagues. Further about community participation tools, IMI SA also piloted at small scale in Limpopo province, giving the recording device a smartphone to community reps to tell their water story. Okay, Uruguay. So are there any other questions? Happy to also maybe hear other stories. It doesn't have to be just IMI sharing. Okay. Well, if things still come up, I would be interested if people could put other examples of similar tours into the chat, because we're sort of collecting, because as Nicole said, we are busy with lit review, and we found that there is such an overrepresentation of stories from particularly the US. But very little about tours from Africa. So if you do know of other examples, even from other sectors, so the biggest sectors we found, are tourism, really big one, and then the other big one that has come up is education, obviously. So there, during COVID, people have been using a lot of these virtual field trips to bring people to the aquarium or show them the stars, things like that. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff. Not as immersive, I would say. It's much more of a video format, so that's like a YouTube video, basically, where you get a tour. So ours is a bit more 360, and you actually guide your way around at your own pace. Then, so other examples always interested in, if people would be, if someone would be willing to share.
Can I ask a question?
Of course, you can ask a question. Please go ahead. Please make me stop talking.
So if people are interested in examples of this technology, even though it seems that there's more of an archive from North America and Europe and so forth, are there any repositories you know of that would be worth checking into? Or maybe those online know of places where this stuff is stored online. A good hub to find this kind of stuff.
In our experience, but happy to hear from others, is YouTube. People put it on YouTube. And we actually work with an IMI researcher in the South African office. God, I've forgotten his full name now. Everyone just calls him Zolo. I hope he is not lying and tell me off. But he, actually helped us write a code so that with Python, so we can actually mine YouTube based on the keywords, because obviously it is basically impossible to look at all the YouTube videos, I mean, totally. How many videos get uploaded? Something like 100,000 every day. So that's just not possible. So basically we have, that's how we are trying to mine it. And then we want to categorize it a little bit so we can draw conclusions, which sector, what's the content, so doing some really empirical primary research. Yeah, that's Nicole's job, who had to go to the closing ceremony because she's one of the youth rapporteurs. So she can't be in two places at once. So as you can also see,
that's why I've taken her too.
Yes. Okay, so there are quite a few comments.
Sorry, and that will be published. You'll share that information online, right?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so Tim asked, with so much reliance on data, now do you have concerns about data being cherry-picked and manipulated? Not sure what kind of data you're referring to, Tim. So maybe you can just expand a little bit. Do you understand what exactly the question is?
There might be a specific example or situation he has in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, to be honest, in the age of AI, I think really scary is that you can literally I actually recently tried that. I gave ChatGPT a WhatsApp note from my sister. And then I asked her to say something else and I couldn't distinguish it. So I taught ChatGPT my sister's like
how to
intonation.
sound like her.
Yep. Wow. And it did it. So it's really scary. So I mean, there is no safeguard against that, right? I mean, I don't know if that's what you were asking, but certainly that's the time we live in. Okay, Anthony is doing quite a lot of self-advertisement. Okay, Hillary, sorry, it's from the US, but over the weekend I was watching a charity live stream for an aquarium where a big YouTube streamer personality was playing games and challenges raising money for the aquarium. And one of the challenges he did was to search for certain items while doing the aquarium virtual tour. For example, we had to find a certain fish. It was fun and we raised 600,000 for the aquarium and the otter rehabilitation efforts. Now that, can I tell you, Hillary, that is so cool because we have several phases of how we want to roll it out, right? So this is already sort of phase 2, I would say. The first one was very simple. So this is actually like the Tigray one already. We learned a lot, about how to tell the story. And so the next phase, we want to make it a lot more interactive, but that almost then goes into like game design, right? And is like a whole different kettle of fish. But yours could be an almost simple way to gamify the existing version with adding quite a thin layer of interaction. And actually, I'm thinking, if we're at the next event, we could maybe say, come to the IMI stand, find those 5 things in the virtual tours, and then you get like a prize. Something like that, right? Could be like fairly simple. So Hillary, really cool, hadn't thought about it. Thank you so much. Okay, we have talked about using this in Niger Formel. So, Karin, happy to engage. We are actually in Jordan. We are going to film, it has to do with seasons, but basically we want to film the sites, IMI sites that we have selected now, where we are putting in nature-based solutions and then come back to those sites, in 2-3 years and actually see if we can use it for MEL to show the changes and the impact that IMI has done, because obviously there the visualization can be much more powerful than, another 10-page report. Okay, so Hillary says, Hillary, is actually an old colleague of mine.
Oh, yeah?
I recognized her picture already. But it was at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and the streamer was like, okay, that's really cool. I'll definitely have a look at that. Thanks, Hilary. And thanks for joining. What a coincidence. All right. Are there any other questions? Okay. I'm also happy to close early so that Sandy and I can actually attend the closing ceremony on time, because now we are a bit off-site. So thank you so much for everyone. Some great ideas came out of it, at least for me. I hope we also inspired other people. And please do get in touch with Nicole, you know, if you want to engage further, happy to share some lessons, which has been many. We've been doing this for about a year. Okay. Thank you and goodbye. Powerful tools. Thank you, Barbara. Okay. William, please, you can, I think, close the session.